The Princess and the Human, Book 2, Chapter 12, Basic Necessity.
And this is definitely as fast as we can go.
Your Highness, I understand the urgency, the pilot assured her. But if we go any faster than this, the reactor might overheat. We will reach our entrance point in about 6 days. It's the best we can do. Silvani sighed. She knew it was pointless. The ship was as fast as it was. There was no way to change that. That didn't make the situation any easier to accept. Hearing that Nadine had suddenly fallen severely ill had riled her up to a degree that she didn't reach often. Leaving the bridge, the princess went down to the quarters. The door to Nadine's cabin was open. Inside, she could see the small alien sleeping in her bed, which, like usual, bent much further than for any other user. But that was about the only thing that was as usual. Her red face and heavy breath showed her suffering, even though she wasn't conscious. It was truly disheartening to see her like this. While she had struggled mentally, at least on a physical level, the human had always seemed so unstoppable. Silvani, of course, knew that this durability had limits, but seeing her reduced to this state was something else. Memories of Kayatin in a hospital bed flashed through her mind. Next to her sat Dr. Gathey, wearing what looked like a set of welder's gloves. The doctor was currently in the process of wringing out a piece of cloth over a bucket before putting it on Nadine's forehead.
"How is she?"
Silvani asked, catching the doctor's attention.
"I apologize, Your Highness. I didn't see you. I couldn't care less about formalities right now. This is more important."
After a short pause, the doctor nodded and returned her attention to Nadine.
"Unfortunately, I can't really tell. It seems like she is more or less the same since the last time you asked, but I don't know anything about how the human body reacts to illnesses. The fact that it can heat up to lethal temperatures, just so hopefully they can survive it longer than the pathogen is crass, for a lack of a better word. It's a good thing that she took off her protective suit before going to sleep. With my complete equipment, I might be able to do more, but for now, we have to trust Nadine's words and what little I learned about her kind so far."
That didn't exactly inspire a lot of hope.
"The broth she wanted should be done soon," the doctor continued. "Maybe that improves her condition."
The princess cocked her head. Broth. It seemed like she'd missed something there.
"And, what are you doing right now?" she inquired, pointing at the wet cloth. "She wanted that, but she fell asleep before she could tell me why, exactly. My guess would be that it cools off her brain a bit to protect it from the increased body heat. And, what are the gloves? They look like the ones the mechanics usually wear." "That's because they are. Our board engineers gave them to me. Nadine is currently secreting large quantities of her sweat. I won't get around to touching her, so I had to improvise. On that note, please don't get too close, Your Highness. But besides the hazard, there is another problem. She said that she would need to drink a lot, and she needs a lot of water to begin with. And since sweat contains water, I have to assume this increases her need for water even further."
Silvani recalled the conversation she had with one of the servants back in the Unifier about why they needed to leave soon. "And we don't have enough water," the doctor nodded. "Not if the amount she drank before going to sleep is any indication. We definitely have enough for the next few days, but I'm not sure it'll last for the entire way."
"Is there no possible way around it?" "Well, maybe," Gathey explained. "Unfortunately, that was one of the many things I gave little priority in my tests. After I made the powder and confirmed that, mixed with the tap water, it gave her all she needed. There were other tests I considered more important. I don't know what reducing her water intake in her current state would do to her, and I apologize if I sound demanding, Your Highness, but we shouldn't do that right now unless we can't come up with another way. Maybe if I can find a way to reduce her sweat secretion, she might need less water. Or if I manage to somehow cure her." "And you have no idea what could achieve that?" Silvani inquired, even though she could already guess the answer. "Not here. As I said, ships like this one only have the basics. If I had all my equipment, things might be different. I also had the faint hope that she herself might know any substances that might help her. But while their long lives allow humans to educate their children in a wide range of fields, even for them, medicine is something you need to specialize in. If I think about the things of an old human doctor that generations' worth of experience could tell me, no, that's not important right now. My point is, outside of the simple treatments I'm already doing, she couldn't tell me much." The doctor went quiet for a moment, seemingly thinking about something. "Although she mumbled something about a box, but she described it with a word that didn't get translated, and she fell asleep right after, so I couldn't ask her for details." "A box?" Silvani thought.
I feel like that's ringing some kind of bell, but I can't put my finger on it. A box. Well, obviously Nadine has used a multitude of things that could be called a box, but none of them would help her here. Come on, think! What am I forgetting right now? Unable to reach a solution, she let out a frustrated sigh. Just how by the first ones did that happen? It's my fault, the doctor immediately said. I felt safe in the knowledge that both the Venerean and Taistri, as well as the Venerean humans, were too different for a cross-species infection, and didn't consider the possibility of humans and Taistri being similar enough for it. So, this is the same illness that killed all those Taistri? Silvani inquired, perturbed by the idea of the potential answer. By process of elimination, it has to be. She couldn't have caught anything from anyone else, and there are no other humans here, unless she happened to coincidentally catch something else with a high incubation time. She must have caught it in the unifier. Then, will this kill her? She asked with dread in her voice. I don't know. The lethality rarely is the same for different species, so I try to remain cautiously optimistic. The doctor changed the wet cloth on Nadine's forehead for a new one. What I can't comprehend is how she got it. Both explanations I can come up with are equally unlikely. Either the germs were resistant to the disinfection process and I brought them with me, but even among similar species, the chance of them jumping over from such a short exposure is close to zero. Oh, the ambassador is lying. This disease isn't new, and she carries it. Nadine had enough contact with her that a species jump would be at least slightly possible, but she would have to have been an asymptomatic carrier for that. And considering how devastating this illness is to the Taistri, although all their corpses I've seen were male, and the sexual dimorphism of that kind is quite pronounced, maybe. The doctor started to fall into one of her ramblings, slowly going off topic and causing Silvani to pay less and less attention. When Nadine had brought up the colony, it had seemed like things would finally take a turn to the positive, like she finally found a clue that might lead her to reunite with the other humans. Wait. So? My apologies, Your Highness. Did you say something? I just thought of something. What if this illness didn't need to, change in order to infect her? You mean mutate, the doctor corrected, but it had to. Otherwise the Taistri disease couldn't infect a human. That is exactly my point. What if this isn't a Taistri disease? What if it already, how did you call it, jumped in a other direction? The doctor's eyes widened from the sudden epiphany. That would mean that, oh no, if the illness originates from a human, then this could be, I would need to start a completely new. First ones, why do we leave her escape pod behind? Escape pod? Silvani asked, confused by the sudden change in topic. Yes, the one we found her in. It wouldn't be a stretch to assume humans put some basic necessities in their escape pods, just like we do, and maybe some medicine as well. I know that we couldn't take it with us, but it could have been. That's it! The sudden outcry paired with the loss of control over her voice made the doctor startle and flinch back, but Silvani didn't care. The box, she continued. That's what she meant. Before we left the Star Treader, Nadine wanted to see the escape pod to check if any humans had responded to the emergency signal. When there were none, she took a small red box with her. If nothing happened to it, it should still be in the palace. Hope suddenly returned to the doctor's expression. If we make it home in time, we might be able to help her. Even better, I might be able to reverse engineer the medicine. Silvani closed her eyes and nodded. With a silver lining in sight, the next pressing matter was to find a way to ensure the humans' water supply would last. And then they just need to make it back. Nadine, please stay strong. End of chapter. I'd greatly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Manathayria, 050, Dragzoon W.R.E, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.